I did. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Prince's Friend, exploring music through Prince. I am your host, Eloy, and I didn't want to do this video alone, so I sent out an invite to all the other guest hosts of the channel. Only one of them was able to make it here with us today, and that is Jason from the Press Rewind podcast.
Hello, everyone.
And yeah, and then I had to mute myself, of course, on my other screen over here. So, hey, Jason, thanks for showing up.
Hey, Eloy, how's it going?
I'm doing good. You sound exasperated already.
I'm ready to go. This is going to be a blast.
I think so. So everybody here who's here watching, we do a Prince Music Madness every year here on the channel. We have at least for the last 4 years, something like that, I think.
Yeah,
so this year, of course, I put up on Twitter and I said, hey, would you guys want to do it live together instead of me recording myself and then just posting it for you guys to mock me? And y'all said yes. So I am here live, and I thought, what better way to do this than to have even somebody else here with me who will probably make fun of all of my choices as in live, in real time. It'll be awesome. So if you do want to follow along and do this Prince bracket with us, there's a link in the description. So go download it. It's just in my Dropbox. So go grab the bracket and you can go right along with us. We're going to make our choices. We're going to explain why we're making our choices the way that they are. As always, the brackets are completely random. It is especially random because Prince has more than 32 albums. So you will also notice when you look at this bracket that some of the albums aren't on there.
I certainly noticed, yeah.
Sure. I specifically took Artificial Age off of the list because I know that to be my favorite. So if I was to do this, it probably would win. But in the randomness, my other huge favorite, Love Sexy, also did not make the bracket, so it is not on here. Also, Musicology is not on here, also by random. The only one I purposefully took off was Artificial Age. The others just so happened to not end up here on the bracket.
Yeah, some big albums missing for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That hurt me too, because I was like, no Love Sexy, no Musicology. But also, if you're talking to me, most likely those would end up in the end. So it's probably better they're not there. But, that is what it is. So mostly we're just kind of flapping our gums here because I really kind of wanted to give more people a chance to show up, grab the bracket, and be ready to go through it with us. Obviously, I want you guys to be sharing your choices in the chat as we go along. If you have compelling arguments, feel free to add those in the chat. Maybe you'll change one of our minds. Who knows? I mean, probably not.
If I'm being honest.
Probably not. But, I have already gone through it. But also, I'm not above changing it. I mean, we say it all the time here and on pretty much every show, like, what's your favorite album? Well, today it's this one. I filled this out a few days ago. So who knows? Today, some of these might change.
Well, I filled mine out about an hour ago, and I did have a few that I struggled with. So I take that back. There's probably 3 or 4 matchups where I would have or could be convinced or persuaded one way or the other, I imagine.
Okay. All right. Well, and maybe we'll be able to persuade or convince each other. Who even knows?
Maybe.
So what time is it? It is 3:10. So I think that's pretty good. Again, I put the link in the chat, but it's also in the description. Grab it, download it, and let's go on a journey, y'all. The Prince Madness album battle of 2022. This is going to be great. Thank you to everybody who's here live, but also thank you to anybody who's going to watch this after the fact. There will be no editing. I'm not doing that for this video. You guys don't realize how hard it is to edit one of these videos. I'm happy you guys wanted it live. This is going to be awesome. So let's start with the first bracket. So we're gonna go first round, all of them. Then we'll do all the second rounds. We'll do all the third rounds, and then we'll declare our winners at that point. Again, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on the chat to see if anybody has any compelling arguments, and then I will share them. I guess what I'll say is first, I'll just say hello to Gail, who's new and has been loving the channel. Welcome, Gail. I notice a lot of other faces here. I know most of these other names, so. But welcome to the new people, especially. But I love all of you anyway. So the first matchup, and this was ridiculous. Again, completely random. The very first matchup was Parade versus Hit and Run Phase 2. Now, I feel like for me and Jason, this was an obvious choice in like opposite directions, though, I feel.
Oh, okay.
So I chose Hit and Run Phase 2 because it has a lot of amazing songs on it, from Baltimore to a million others. Of course, my brain is losing me. Stare, Extra Lovable, I See Me, See You, a bunch of different songs. Black Muse, so many great songs on this album. And I think most of you know that Parade is not really high on my list in general. So, so for me, I'm like, oh, gushing over this one. And then Parade's like, yeah, it's good, but it's not Hit and Run Phase 2. So, yeah, Parade. I know Theo says, mountains, Aloy, mountains. And I know, I feel you. The problem is that if it's not just like mountains is what would win it for, but without mountains, like I could name almost every song on Hit and Run, whereas mountains is obviously the star of Parade for me, for myself. So that would be my choice. It would be Hit and Run Phase 2. So what do you think, Jason?
Well, as you can probably guess, I'm going to pick Parade. I do love Hit and Run Phase 2 a lot. It is one of my favorite Prince albums of the 2010s, without question. I don't know if it's my favorite of the decade, but it's certainly one or two, either number one or number two. And for the same reasons you cited, Stare is an amazing song. Like, I never get tired of listening to Stare. I love Baltimore. There's a lot of good songs on that record. Big City's great. But at the end of the day, Parade is the album that I chose to move on because it has mountains. Thanks, Theo. Mountains. It also has Sometimes It Snows in April, which is an iconic song, has a lot of emotion to it for me and for a lot of Prince fans, I think. Kiss, I mean, that's a banger for sure. The whole, opening suite of songs is amazing and epic, how they just kind of blend into each other.
Yeah.
I just really like this album a lot. It isn't an album that I put up above many of other 80s records, but it is, in my mind, if I had to choose between the two, I'm choosing Parade at the end of the day for those reasons.
And that makes sense. And I had kind of guessed that from our previous conversation on Press Rewind, so if nobody has gone and watched that episode, I was actually on for a New Position where me and Jason got to discuss the lyrics of that. So go check that out. It's on the Press Rewind podcast, YouTube channel, and obviously his website. But that was a fun conversation. And we talked a lot about like that opening suite of songs and stuff and just how much you love those. And I love them too, but not more than Hit and Run Phase 2.
I mean, it's awesome to give it love. Hit and Run Phase 2 deserves love. So
now we go to Dirty Mind versus Prince. Prince, the self-titled album. Funny enough, two albums that were actually back to back when they were released. So what's your choice on that, Jason?
This was another easy one. I really love the Prince album. There's a lot of great songs on it, but at the end of the day, again, Dirty Mind is one of my favorite records of his. If I'm going to put Dirty Mind in, give some analogy to what we're doing, which is Prince Madness, which is mirroring, of course, the NCAA college basketball tournament, I'm going to call Dirty Mind the album that, it's kind of short. He gets on the court, you look at the guy, he's kind of short, don't think he's very good basketball player, not very intimidated by him. but he's the guy, or this is the album in this case, that does all the dirty work. Is the lockdown defender for the opposing team's best scorer.
Yeah.
Takes all the charges, goes after all the loose balls. Dirty Mind is the unsung hero of the team, the unsung MVP of the team, and I think Dirty Mind's the unsung hero and MVP of Prince's discography. So I'm picking Dirty Mind.
That's fair, and that's actually a really good argument for it. I think for me, I actually picked Prince. Funny enough, I went the opposite direction again. Let's see how far we can keep that going. But I picked Prince, and largely for me, I feel like it was because, like his first album was like, so, it had that, like, it had a different feel to it. And I feel like the Prince album was the one where he was like kind of starting to break the mold. And it was really like his first foray into like really showing himself off, as opposed to kind of like what the record producers were wanting him to do. He also had a lot of really good bangers on that album. It's Gonna Be Lonely is obviously the one that like haunts me every time I listen to it. I freaking love that song. But, Feel For You and I Want to Be Your Lover and Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad. And, if I was to compare Prince, the songs on Prince to the songs on Dirty Mind, it's interesting because I feel like Dirty Mind is maybe a little bit more cohesive of an album, but I feel like the individual songs don't stand as strongly against the ones on Prince. For me, it was like Dirty Mind was almost like pre-controversy, like I couple Dirty Mind and Controversy so closely together. It's hard for Dirty Mind to stand on its own for me. So with that in mind, I picked Prince. So already the first two like were opposites. It's amazing.
Yes.
So the next matchup is Come versus the Chocolate Invasion. Now the Chocolate Invasion has, When I Lay My Hands on You and so many others, Va Va Voom and, Super Cute. And it has a lot of good songs on it. It had to go to Come though for me. Like Come, it has Come on it. It has Pheromone on it. It has Race on it. Like a lot of these really killer, just iconic songs from the mid 90s for Prince are on there. And, Chocolate Invasion is darn good. I don't think it holds a candle to Come though, sadly. So Come was my choice for that third matchup. What about you?
I'm right with you. Papa, Dark. I mean, there's a lot of great songs on Come. Come is pretty epic. Space is a great song. If you have that Space 12-inch maxi single, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So no, I'm sorry. Chocolate Invasion, you're not gonna win against Come.
I know it sucks because I actually really do like Chocolate Invasion too, but no, yeah, sorry. The next one is the Slaughterhouse versus Planet Earth. Jason.
Okay, well, this one wasn't that difficult for me either. I actually enjoy Planet Earth for what it is. It's one of those albums that's very consistent to me. Like, I don't think any of the songs are just amazing, like top 10, 20 Prince songs of all time. But I also don't think that there's any really weak songs on the album. It's pretty strong front to back. I like the guitar. I like Resolution. I like Planet Earth. The track, the title track. So there's enough on there. Future Baby Mom is good. There's enough on here that it keeps me coming back to it. While the Slaughterhouse is just another one of those collections of tracks that don't seem to have the cohesiveness that Planet Earth has to me. And it's just I'll pick Planet Earth for that reason. I just think it's stronger.
I feel you there. I feel like Slaughterhouse was cohesive. It was a lot of we got Travis in the game here. Hold on.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey,
Travis here. Hey, Travis.
Hey, hello, Jason. How you doing?
Doing well. We're on like the fourth matchup. So let me say which one I picked, and then we'll go through your first 4 so you can catch up.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Everybody remembers Travis. He's done a couple of videos here, guest hosting. He's amazing. I believe he did a really good job in the friend off. He didn't win like Jason did, but he he did very well though. So in the face off right now that we're talking about Slaughterhouse versus Planet Earth, I actually did think that the Slaughterhouse was pretty cohesive. It was kind of funk, like pure funk through and through. However, I don't think that any of the songs were really strong enough to contend with the ones that were on Planet Earth. I think there were a couple of weak ones on Planet Earth. Lion of Judah being one of them. Resolution is not even necessarily a weak song, but its placement on the album as the ender kind of made it like a soft slap as opposed to the hard-hitting song it should be.
Sure.
So I think those 2 though on Planet Earth would probably be the only 2 that I would be like, The rest of them are amazing. I freaking love Planet Earth. So for obviously Planet Earth won in my book. So Travis, I guess let's go ahead and get your thoughts on Slaughterhouse versus Planet Earth, and then we'll jump up and we'll do the other 3, and you can tell us what you picked for those.
I'll do them quick because I came in late. But I would say I agree with you on Planet Earth because one of my favorite like getting ready songs to go out to a club is Chelsea Rogers. It's got that really steamy background with Shelby just cranking it in the back.
Oh yeah.
So I would go with that one. I can choose between Come and the Chocolate Invasion. Is that what the other? Okay, I would say definitely Come.
Okay.
That just reminds me of all the trips going to Glam Slam LA because that's where a lot of it was shot, especially with Strays of the World back then as well too. Let's see, Prince, Dirty Mind, Prince. I'll go with Dirty Mind just because of just the rawness that came out. Because to me, like the first album, the second album is fantastic, but that's when the gritty sexuality portion of him came out, and Party Up, Uptown, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then Parade, and then Hit and Run. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Parade. I remember walking into a record store just to go buy Parade. I used my allowance to get that, so absolutely Parade.
Okay. All right, so your choices and Jason's are pretty much aligned. I'm different on a couple of those, but that's good to know. To know.
Yeah. So I'm caught up. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, I actually just realized that I can type this stuff in. It's going to be great. Hold on. Give me just a second.
Sure.
All right. So that should work. And then I should be able to hit this. So the next one, see, I can get tricky with this. The next one is MPL Sound versus Welcome to America. So I'm going to start this one off. So for me, MPL Sound, really great album. Chocolate Box, Dance for Me, new Old School Company. So many good songs on there. Has 100% that Minneapolis flow. Welcome to America has to take it for me though. Welcome to America, it was just so strong musically as well as message wise. And if you haven't watched my 2-parter review, like I kind of dive deep into it. It's like 2 hours worth of watching a video, so it's a lot of material because, oh my God, but it just had so much going on the albums. I mean, in like Hot Summer, Welcome to America, just so many great ones on there. Now, Welcome to America obviously had Stand Up and Be Strong, which wasn't my favorite, take on a song or anything like that. I think that's probably the weakest of the songs there. But I don't think that's enough to hold it back. So I think it does win against MPL Sound. So Jason, what would be your pick?
I agree. Welcome to America has grown on me quite a bit since its release. Not that I didn't enjoy it when it first came out, but since its release, it has grown on me even more. I really enjoy 1,000 Light Years from Here. That's a great song. I enjoy Check the Record. Also love that one. One Day We Will All Be Free is an amazing album ender, and I just enjoy it a lot. I'm sorry, but MPLS Sound is just not one of my favorite Prince albums, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Check the Record's the one that my son like sings. Like, well, if he hears it, he just has to sing along and dance to it. It's crazy. Travis.
I'm gonna agree with you guys. I mean, Welcome to America, once it came out last year, I really had been enjoying a lot of the funkier steps from same page, different book, Stand Up and Be Strong. It's funny when it comes to MPLS Sound and Lotus Flower, I never can really remember which song is on which album because it came in that 3-pack.
True.
And so there's a few that float out there that, you know, I'm fans of songs of that one, but yeah, you're right. It wasn't one of my favorite albums because it just seemed like I can't pinpoint which song is on that album. But yeah, if I have to pick, it's going to be Welcome to America because they dug out something that was just really good, and I wish we got it when he was around. But I like bopping to Same Page, Different Book a lot. That's a good toe tapping one.
That's a dope one. That is definitely a dope one.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So the next one that we're all in agreement there for Welcome to America. So that's interesting. The next one was one that I struggled with quite a bit. And it's Rainbow Children. Where is it? I have it here. Rainbow Children versus Purple Rain. Jason, you're going to start us off on that one.
I love Rainbow Children. I love it. It's an amazing record. I'm, just from a musical standpoint, just listening to the music in those last 3 songs on the record, Family Name, Everlasting Now, and Last December. Wow. That's a killer way to close a record. Killer. And there's a lot of other really great tracks on there, but it's against Purple Rain. So that I'm sorry, I gotta pick Purple Rain. And I know a lot of people might, be like, I'm tired of Purple Rain. I'm picking Rainbow Children because that's an album maybe that they feel more in 2022 than they did in 2001, for example. But Purple Rain is the album. It is the reason why I'm a Prince fan today. So
I can't even argue with that. Travis, what do you think?
Yeah, mine's gonna be short too, because I mean, that's what I grew up with. That's what it's when he blew up. That's what he just was. That was Prince. That was Kaboom. That's when he was a household name. I never downplay Rainbow Children because there's some really great songs on there. 1 + 1 + 1 is 3 is one of my favorites. But I think what always got me on that album was just the deep voice of him all the time that would throw you off because you're ready to get a song going and it's like I'm like, but of course I'm like, when you play Purple Rain, you know where you were when you first got that album, or you can just picture the entire movie in your head. So it's an easy one for me, but no way downplaying Rainbow Children. Rainbow Children is a great album, but I gotta go Purple Rain. So
I got you. I just want to call out real quick that Marcus Scott thinks that I'm a coward for not putting Purple Rain against 1999 or Sign of the Times. I guess I will remind everybody that these pairings are random. So I don't know what to tell you. I guess I'm a coward for not rigging the thing. I guess so, but it's random. So, hold a little bit of yourself back there. What I will say, since it's my turn, I actually picked the Rainbow Children.
Wow.
Because I think as awesome as Purple Rain is, I feel like it's so connected to the movie. I feel like it's so ingrained in everything that if I take a step back from all of the nostalgia and all of my love and all of that stuff, and I really just face these 2 albums against each other, Rainbow Children, like if you were like, hey, which album do you want to listen to, Purple Rain, I'd be like, put Rainbow Children on right now. It's like, so I feel like, it would definitely have to be Rainbow Children for me. And it, like, the deep voice and stuff that you don't like, Travis, is funny because it's part of the story and it adds character to the album, which is also part of why I love it, is that there's kind of an ongoing story there. And yes, it has like deep religious roots and all that stuff, but like even if you divorce it from that, it's a really cool, and I think it's a clearer story than other stories that Prince has tried to tell via record before. You know, so it's Rainbow Children for me. Wow, I was hoping somebody was going to be on my side there, but it's okay.
Well, the fact that you chose it, I think, is important, and I'm glad that you chose it actually, so we can keep going with the Rainbow Children narrative and see how far it goes.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess we will. So the next one, and Travis, you're going to start us off on this one, is 1999 versus the Love Symbol album.
You coward! Oh my god! No, dude, this is a tough one because I would say 1999 when it came out, I was 13, and that's kind of the first introduction to him, and then seeing all the videos of 1999 Little Red Corvette, AOT-O-Matic. But it's if you want to honestly come to me and hand me these two albums, I will probably it's the Love album, because it seemed like that era. I remembered everything that was going on when that album got released. That's when I first started meeting Prince fans and getting into groups, to where we would get bootleg cassette tapes and listen to Sexy MF or My Name is Prince. And the variances of the singles and everything would come out. It was so brand new and so cutting edge. And it's just, to me, Love Symbol is almost like Rainbow Children, because it tells of another huge story that goes through it. But if you're going to hand them both to me right now, I'd take the Love Symbol. I really love that album a lot. But I do adore 1999 too, but give me the Love Symbol. So.
I am going to echo a lot of your sentiments, because I chose the Love Symbol as well. I also feel like the Love Symbol was my 1999. Again, people who watch this channel know I got into Prince in 1990, and then I listened to everything, but it was like 1990. I was like, oh, Graffiti Bridge, this is awesome. And in Diamonds and Pearls, I was like, okay, that's pretty good. Maybe he's got some. And then the Love Symbol hits. So like, I was into Prince, like I was fresh, I was new, like it's there, like that is my 1999. Plus it's got so many amazing songs. The Max, Love to the Nines, My Name is Prince is, we just had the Love Symbol Symposium that D'Angela Huff did. And there were so many people who were ragging on the story and the preludes and saying like, oh, it was not that strong of an album. And I'm just like, what are you people thinking? Like, it's an amazing album. There's so many things. Continental, of course, still being one of my very favorite songs on the album. I love it. So yeah, Love Symbol for me, hands down. Like, it wasn't even a competition. I like 1999, Delirious, 1999, but Love Symbol is like this, 1999 is like this. So it's good. So, Jason, what was your pick?
Well, I've got 9 key reasons why I'm picking 1999 over Love Symbol. They are 1999, Little Red Corvette, Delirious, Let's Pretend We're Married, DMSR, Automatic, Something in the Water, Free, Lady Cab Driver, All the Critics, and International Lover. Those are my 9 reasons I'm picking 1999.
I mean,
it's like I say, it's a great album. It's just one of those where I think also that's when we first got implemented with the symbol big time. His symbol was everywhere before his name changed on this album. But this was a hard choice. I agree with both of you on you coward.
Yeah, this is Mad Scientist, Prince alone in his studio basement, just going to town on the Lynn drum machine, just writing like a crazy man. He's got like 3 discs worth of material, comes out with a double album. The songs are crazy long. They go on forever, but I never get tired of a single minute of it. So it's 1999.
Very cool. Hey, I can't even argue with it. I think it's just my deep love for the Symbol album is greater than my deep love for 1999. So
that's fair.
It's a matter of scale here, is basically what we're talking.
Of course. We're comparing Prince albums at the end of the day. So.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So the last pairing of this first half of round 1, oh my gosh, is Controversy versus Hit and Run Phase 1. So I think it's me. I'm starting this one off because we're just going in a circle. I actually picked Hit and Run Phase 1. And here's why. I know. Controversy is not my favorite Prince album. It actually does have a lot of really good ones on it. Obviously, Controversy and Sexuality, Private Joy. It has a bunch of really good ones on it. Hit and Run Phase 1, though, is one of those albums that everyone hates, and I still don't know why. Like, I freaking love that. And again, if you handed me these two CDs and said, which one do you want to put on? I'd be like, Ain't About to Stop. Let's go straight to that one and let's jam out and just wreck this place. Hard Rock Lover, so many other great ones on this one. Hit and Run Phase 1 for me. Like, it had too much good stuff. I don't know. But I already know what Jason's answer is. But you can tell me.
I mean, it's controversy because I'm not a big fan of Phase 1, Hit and Run Phase 1. I do think controversy, and not just because I don't like that album very much. It's more because I really do enjoy Controversy. The title track, Sexuality, Let's Work is a banger. Do Me Baby is like the kind of the template for Prince's ballads. His 80s ballads and into the early 90s that kind of set the tone and template for that.
Yeah.
I love Controversy. Is it his best 80s album? No. Is it, in the top 5? I don't even think it's in one of his top 5 80s albums. But if you put it up against Hit and Run Phase 1, it's gonna beat it for me.
And that's fair. That's kind of how these brackets work, right? It's like this one might not have won against this one, but it won against this one. That's how it works.
I wouldn't have picked Controversy over, say, Rainbow Children or Calm or something like that. But yeah, it's just about the matchups.
And that happens sometimes. Travis?
I'm going to go straight to Controversy because it's kind of the same thing with the 80s style of it. We, of course, Do Me Baby and Controversy, but Sexuality always was a good dance song that popped out to me. But then it was a more political time that Ronnie Talk to Russia was one that would always pop in my mind. When I was a kid and Ronald Reagan was in office, Ronnie Talk to. I always remember that. But who could forget the old family favorite of Jack You Off? Come on, But I don't downplay Hit and Run so much. But I mean, I think both Hit and Run Phase 1 and Phase 2, to me, it was always like I got that album and I put it on and I go, well, I already heard this one before. Or I heard this one before because it got released as singles, and I felt like I wanted a whole full new album. So yeah, I'm gonna go Controversy on this one.
I feel you on that. And of course, we have Charles who's saying that I'm too young, which is an argument that I've heard so many people tell me the entire time I've had this channel. When Controversy came out, I was like 4. So I don't have the deep ingrained, like I was there when Prince was on his rise and stuff. I don't have that. Yeah. I look at through the lens of history, right? So, but
pardon me, I'll be right back.
Sure. I do still really like Controversy, just to note that. But it's just definitely not one of my faves. Controversy and Dirty Mind work together as a really strong album for me. But like separately, it's hard to really judge either of them on its own merits because they're so interconnected with each other in my brain, the way that like my brain interprets the music. So with that, we are actually done with the first half of round 1, and then we're going to go ahead and hit the other half. I do want to go ahead and point out that anybody who hasn't hit like, go ahead and hit like, because the more people who hit like means that YouTube thinks that people are liking the video, and then they'll make sure that more people know that it's happening. So funny how that works. So yeah, no, definitely hit the like button. And if you want to keep supporting us here, there's the join button right underneath here as well. It allows me to have really fun people like Jason and Travis on every so often as well. I actually have a video from Jason that he sent to me already that is still sitting on my hard drive because the whole second half of March just flew by for me. Yeah. So we will be having a new video from Jason coming up here soon. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. Okay, so also have one from Devin. I'll go ahead and throw that out there as well. So now we're going to the second half of round 1, and then round 2s and 3s are like really fast. As soon as like it's all the initial choices, And then everything kind of flows after that is what I've found doing these lists. All right, let's see. The first matchup of round 1 of the second half, I guess, is the Gold Experience versus the Truth. I think who's starting? I think is it Travis starting this one?
I can, yeah. Gold Experience, hands down. I like the Truth. Beautiful songs, beautiful acoustics from Don't Play Me, Circle of Amor. But man, when you got in that era when we got Chaos and Disorder, The Vault, and this thing came out in between them, boom. Everything I remember during that era of him performing across Europe and throughout, even through the States with just the 4 members of the band and Maite, every song, Emancipation, Interactive, oh God, Pussy Control, Gold. I can go on and on. The Gold Experience is, yeah. I'm done. I'll be here. I'm done.
So you like the Gold Experience is what I'm getting.
That's what it sounds like. I can't even argue with you. My choice was the Gold Experience. A lot of people know that the Gold Experience was my favorite album for like the longest time. So it would have had to go up against something. It would have had to go up against something harder hitting than the Truth. And I love the Truth. Listening to the Truth is the entire reason I wanted to start learning the guitar. Because I wanted to be able to play the title track. Still can't, but it's an amazing riff that I like so wanted to learn. But the Gold Experience, so if the Love Symbol album was my 1999, the Gold Experience is my Purple Rain. So like there's a huge reason why the Gold Experience is as huge in my musical knowledge and repertoire as it is. So Gold Experience easily for me. That was not a hard choice at all. Jason.
So I had to think about this one a little bit. I mean, ultimately I decided, and I'm aligned with you guys, the Gold Experience is what I chose, but I thought about it a little longer because I do like like a lot of Prince albums in the 90s seem to really be long. And the older I get, the less attention span I have for really long albums, like 70, 80, 90-minute albums. And here, I'm a big fan of Sign of the Times in 1999, so I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite. But I like the conciseness of the Truth. I put it on and I listen to it straight through. It just seems really cohesive. I know we've used that word before, but the Truth is definitely that. The Gold Experience has a lot of high highs. It has a couple of lows for me personally, but the highs are too high for me. Dolphin's a great song, Endorphin Machine, Shy, P Control. The list goes on and on. There's too many really good songs on the Gold Experience. The highs are higher than the Truth's highs, and that's why I picked it.
Yeah, that's very, very fair. Okay, so okay, well, that's good. We were all in alignment there, so that's good.
It happens once in a while,
yeah. The next face-off is Raven to the Joy Fantastic versus Lotus Flower, which that was an interesting one when I saw it. I was like, what? Jason, you can start it off because I think it was actually supposed to be you in the first place in the last one, so you get to start this one off.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Lotus Flower, all day, every day. I love Lotus Flower. It's one of those albums that grew on me over time, and I needed a little more listening. It didn't catch me the first 2, 3, 4 listens, but the more I listened to it, I dig Prince's guitar songs. And this is a very guitar-heavy album. It's got Dreamer. It's got Colonized Mind. It's got Boom. I really also like, 77 Beverly Park, which is an instrumental. And typically instrumentals don't grab me as much as songs with lyrics. So a great album, and I'm picking Lotus Flower here.
Fair choice. Travis.
Dissecting both of these albums to me, at one point I was going to go to Rave, but I felt like Rave didn't get its due because, of course, they went to Arista and they didn't really promote it as much as everyone thought, and a lot of co-stars from Sheryl Crow and Eve and Gwen Stefani. But I think the one only song that sticks out to me from Rave is Greatest Romance That's Ever Been Sold. And I love that song. But as Jason brought up, it's like Lotus Flower pops up, and there's a lot of songs on this one. I had to look up the list again because I couldn't remember which album it was from. But Dreamer, very passionate song, very powerful song. Morning After, and the dollar. How do you pronounce it? Just the
It's
dollar.
just money.
I just call
money?
it money.
Yeah. I always never could pronounce it, but I just love the Camille voice that's on that one, and the little bop, the little dancing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a little hard, lukewarm choices on both of them, but I'm gonna go Lotus Flower on this one. I really am, because it just seems to me Rave was that turning point where you thought something was going to come out of that little thing, and it just kind of deflated a little bit. But yeah, I'll go Lotus Flower on that one.
Okay. And then for me, I just realized I wrote Ran Unto the Joy Fantastic, but whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about.
That's this three. It's Rave Unto, Rave Into, and Ran Unto.
Right. Rave Into was on the randomization list, but it did not make it on. But it could have just been Into instead of Unto, and that might have changed everything. Maybe not. But anyway, the interesting thing about Rave for me is that I actually really liked Rave. It had a lot of really great songs on there for me. Tangerine being one of them, the title track, Undisputed, I Love You But I Don't Trust You Anymore. Like, those are really amazing songs that are on that album. But Lotus Flower has Colonized Mind. It has Wall of Berlin. It has, and I am more of a rock-oriented listener, so it definitely appeals to me more. Lotus Flower definitely was my winner. Oh man, like this one wasn't easy though. I had to weigh a lot of things, I will say, because for me, neither of them are lukewarm. For me, it was like, I really do love both of these.
Yeah.
But Lotus Flower did definitely have to win for me personally, at least. So we were all in agreement on that one too. Maybe the next one will split us. We'll see what happens. The next one being Graffiti Bridge versus Originals. Now, and it's weird because I did put all of the posthumous releases on here as well. So not all of them ended up getting picked, but I put it on there. So Originals versus Graffiti Bridge. Is it you, Travis? You're starting this one?
Sure.
Yeah, you're starting this one.
It's gonna be an easy choice, but I'm like, Originals to me was, I would say, the first outside release of stuff after from the estate, and yeah, really cool to hear a version of him singing Jungle Love. Really cool to hear him singing Neon Telephone. But for some reason, for me, when I hear those songs, I like to go back and listen to the original artist that sang that. For some reason, I like to hear the Bangles sing that version of Manic Monday,
yeah.
And hearing Sheila singing Holly Rock. I love Prince singing Holly Rock, but I'm used to hearing Sheila. So it was a good package thing for Originals. It was a great idea, and it was cool to be nostalgic to see what it would sound like if it was him. Hands down, it's Graffiti Bridge. Graffiti Bridge to me was coming of age movie for me in 1990, and I remember I saw it 4 times in a theater, 4 of them in an empty theater. But I've been in a kind of a Graffiti Bridge mood lately, and having the mixture of the time and George and Mavis and Tevin. There's some really good hits off of that one. It really is. You take out the movie a little bit, and just focus on the album. There's some really, really great stuff on that one. So to me, it's dear to my heart. So I'm going to go Graffiti Bridge.
Okay. I'm going to say Graffiti Bridge as well. Obviously, it was my first love, and it's kind of the album that I weighed everything else against for the longest time. So yeah, I mean, Originals was good, right? Originals was fun to hear the different versions. There were a couple of songs that I had never even heard before, like the Kenny Rogers one. So, that was actually my first hearing of it, but I feel like it was more an experiment than it was, like an actual cohesive album. So yeah, Graffiti Bridge for me, Elephants and Flowers and Still Would Stand All Time. Those 2 songs are still two of my all-time favorite Prince songs like ever. So,
Oh yeah.
you know, bam, they, you know, from that first album of mine that I purchased, Graffiti Bridge, it was an amazing album. Jason.
Gonna make this real simple, guys. We're getting kind of boring here, and this is not going to change. Graffiti Bridge again. So we're, despite of the bracket, we're just seem to be all in alignment all of a sudden. So everything Travis said, I agree with. You know, Originals is great. It's fascinating, but some of those songs I do like hearing the original artists better, and it's probably more because that's the song I'm used to hearing. I'm used to hearing Sheila sing The Glamorous Life. I'm used to hearing Morris Day sing Jungle Love. And I'm okay with their versions of those songs. And Graffiti Bridge has joy in repetition, so game over.
Question.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Hey, again, we're all in alignment again. So that is going to, I apologize to the audience that we're in such agreement on a lot of these choices. I know you guys tuned in for fighting, but it just so happens, again, all of these were random. So just how it works. Okay, so the next one is 2010 versus Sign of the Times. And I'm pretty sure I know where this is going to lean. I am starting it off, and I actually really, really love 2010. But, I mean, Sign of the Times is Sign of the Times. You know, like, you can't argue. These two songs, again, I think 2010 might have won against some other stuff, but not against Sign of the Times. So I'm not even going to belabor it. Sign of the Times won that one against 2010. Jason.
Yeah, I wish 2010 was going up against a different album, because I also really think 2010 is an underrated album, and I wanted to see it go further. But it's a 16 seed versus a number 1 seed if we're applying basketball analogies here. Sign of the Times is the number 1 seed. They're the five-star McDonald's All-American going up against the little guy from some tiny school in North Dakota. So I'm sorry, 2010. I love you, but Sign of the Times wins.
There you go. And Travis, what are you thinking?
Of course, I'm in agreement. I think Sign of the Times is his masterpiece. I think that is his just one anchor of his catalog that, you know, once we got the remasters that came out and all it's just one of the best re-releases that they did, you know, better than Purple Rain, Sign of the Times. I'm sorry, 1999. And yeah, I mean, I can remember 87 and all those songs from You Got the Look to Forever in My Life. But I agree with you. 2010 is amazing too. Lay It Down. Oh my God. I can play it over and over. That's just a big thumping, you know, the Purple Yoda from Minnesota. I'm like, and Walk on the Sand is a dear song from my wife and I, but yeah, I'll stop talking. It's Sign of the Times. It has just boom.
And that's the thing is, like, really it is good, but then it's going against Sign of the Times. So it's like, yeah, it hurts because I'm like Jason. I really wanted it to go further. You know, it just didn't happen. Okay, the next one is Deliverance versus For You. Oh, that's an interesting one. Jason, you're starting this one off.
Okay, so Deliverance is an album that I don't listen to that often because it's not really officially released. So if you want to listen to it, you got to find it. For You, I've listened to Deliverance maybe.
Froze.
A dozen times or so.
Okay.
Who, me?
You're back.
Okay.
So you froze for a second. So you've listened to it about a dozen times or so.
It's a nice little rock record. But I'm a big advocate for You. I know a lot of people think For You is not that impressive, or it's just, Prince just getting started, doesn't really know how to write a real pop hit yet, although Soft and Wet would disagree. And he shows off his skills in this, his vocal skills, his musical skills, his songwriting skills. There's some good songs on here. And so I listened to For You and I enjoy every minute of it. So I'm picking For You.
There you go. Travis.
It's the same. I mean, when that brief what was it, like a 3-day stint where we were able to get Deliverance on Apple in like 3 days, and then it was gone. Yeah, it's one of those that I haven't listened to a lot in the background. It's nice to know that I have maybe a digital copy or something I haven't really researched about. So I was really interested when it popped on this list because it's technically, it is something that came from the catalog, but I love For You. Of course, it's his first album. It's getting to the point now where someone last night told me that they think For You is like yacht rock right now. And I'm like,
it's what?
Yacht rock. Kind of like the Jeffrey Osborne, Christopher Cross, Doobie Brothers, just because it's got
interesting.
It's got that smooth, crazy fool, all that. But I'm not going to, no.
I mean, it is smooth. I mean, I can't argue with that.
Don't you dare put that in that category. No, he's his first one out the gate, beautiful. He's got a little disco, a little sensitive to it. So yeah, I would say it's got to be For You, since I didn't really spend a lot of time on Deliverance because it was very limited to us.
All right. Well, we're going to add a little bit of clashing now to the video because I chose Deliverance. And, here's the interesting thing about For You is it was his first album. Like the acapella just starting off the album is amazing. There's a lot of really great things like I'm Yours, like Vontae is saying over here. There's a lot of really good songs on there. But when Deliverance came out, and ever since it came out, it has been one of those things that I play almost constantly. It is, it's like, I think that was originally recorded like 2005, 2006, which is like, that's my Prince. Like he had so many amazing stuff that was happening around that time. And I just love that. And it's like less of a full album and a little bit more of like an EP kind of, but it's got like 6 songs on it. One of them is kind of a repeat, but it's fine. I love it anyway. But Deliverance is amazing. I Am was great. And then the whole suite of songs that comes after that are all kind of interconnected and intertwined. And it's almost like he was writing a musical. Freaking love Deliverance. So Deliverance wins it for me against For You. Now, Deliverance might not have won against some other things, but against For You, it did. So there you go. So if anybody, I'm noticing a lot of people saying they haven't even listened to Deliverance. Go find it somewhere. It is harder to find because it was released and then yanked back because it was a really, legal issues and stuff like that. But if you were able to get your hands on them, Deliverance was so good.
You can listen to it on YouTube. There's versions of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people have it. Yeah. All right, so we have 3 more matchups, and then we're done with round 1, and then we'll move to round 2, and then we should be, like I said, after round 1's done, it'll be done. It moves way faster. 3121 versus Around the World in a Day. Go, Travis.
This is mean. This is absolutely mean. It's almost an even tie. And so I'll start off I'll talk about real briefly about my thoughts on each album. 3121 was that time of the house he bought in LA, and you think of all the private parties he did and then the club in Vegas, and every song from Get on the Boat, Te Amo Corazon, Satisfied, Lolita, the whole American Idol essence, the dance, love, great album
too. Love.
Now, but then you're throwing it up against the follow-up to Purple Rain that everyone was so anticipatingly waiting for, and you get Raspberry Beret, Pop Life, Condition of the Heart, The Ladder, Temptation. Oh my God, this sucks. This is so. I have to, and it's by a narrow margin. I have to go with Around the World in a Day, only because of just the transformation that it came out of Purple Rain, Leather and Lace, and everything, and that direction he went in with, Pop Life, Raspberry. It sticks in my crawl all the time. 3121, magnificent album, but no, I'm going to go with Around the World in a Day.
Hey. I am going to refute your claim, and I picked 3121.
Refute.
And I feel kind of the same because I love Around the World in a Day. I would say that they're almost neck and neck with each other. 3121 has the dance though. Like that basically like, Around the World in a Day has ladder and pop life. Does it have the dance? If it doesn't have the dance, then it doesn't win. I'm sorry. Because it has to have the dance to win. So yeah, I love 3121. The dance, I'm making a joke, but I love the whole album as well.
I mean, you got America too. I mean, it's got that as well,
Does it have Black Sweat? If it doesn't have Black Sweat, it can't win. I'm sorry, Travis.
I'm sorry.
All right, so Jason, what's yours?
All right, so somebody has to break the tie on this one if we're, keeping track. So 4 words: condition of the heart.
Yeah.
Around the World in a Day. I love Condition of the Heart. Love, love, love. And I love, like the song Love from 3121. And that's one of those songs that it's another grower for me. Like I love the title track 3121. The dance is an amazing song. Absolutely. Fury's great. Banger after banger on 3121. But Love is the one that I come back to. But it's just Condition of the Heart, Paisley Park, those 2 songs by themselves are enough to take Around the World in a Day for me.
Now, if you were like Aloy, Love versus Condition of the Heart, I probably would go with Condition of the Heart if we were to compare those 2 songs. But oh gosh, I wouldn't do that because I'd be like the dance versus Condition of the Heart. I'd be like, ooh, I don't know, the dance might win that one. One of my favorite verses that I've done here on the channel, and because we've mentioned Money earlier, was Love versus Money versus Love or Money. Was one of my very favorite versus videos I did here. Anybody can go check that one out. It's in the versus playlist there. Yeah. Love ended up winning that one, by the way. So there's that. All right, so the next face off, and it looks like I'm starting this one: Diamonds and Pearls versus Emancipation. So this one is actually not that hard for me personally. Diamonds and Pearls had some really good songs on it. It had different shifts in its tone and its musical stylings that were almost too stark. I think I even described it earlier as I had Graffiti Bridge and I was comparing everything to it. And when Diamonds and Pearls came out, I said, I can't wait for the next one. This is good. Where's the next one? And then Love Symbol came out and then blew me away. But I don't know, Diamonds and Pearls for me, I feel like it's a whole lot of individually really good songs, but it's not that strong of an album for me personally. Going up against Emancipation, which is 3 hours of amazing music that tells a great story and it just drubs up like so many emotions in me. It makes you want to cry, and then it makes you want to dance, then it makes you want to hit somebody, then it makes you want to propose to some. I mean, it's just it's so many things happening on Emancipation, and for that reason, Emancipation was my choice. Jason, which one was your choice?
Yeah, Emancipation for me was going to take this one, and it's like Emancipation's so big. It's it is intimidating. It's an intimidating album to parse through disc by disc, 60 minutes each. So the way I managed to get through it, and by what I mean by get through it is really listen to it, absorb it, and appreciate it, was to take each disc separately and treat them almost like its own separate album.
That's what I did.
That. Yeah, it's like I listened to disc 1 and I would listen to disc 1 again, then I would listen to disc 1 again and listen to it again, until I finally figured out if I liked it or not, and that's the first thing you have to do. And then you move on to the next disc. And you have to do this over a period of time. You can't just do it all in one day.
Yeah.
And once I did that, I came to appreciate Emancipation. There are certain songs on there that, I could do without. But when you have 36 tracks, 3 hours, it's pretty tough to not find or, to create a couple fillers. Diamonds and Pearls has some very strong songs. The best songs on there are really good. But there are songs on there I just, the CD era allows me to skip past pretty quickly. And so I do that. And I think Emancipation is the album that defines the 90s for Prince, along with the Gold Experience more so than Diamonds and Pearls. Diamonds and Pearls is more of the commercial side. Emancipation has a mixture of commercial appeal and also like his indie aesthetic is in full swing on disc 3. He's got the love songs on disc 2. He's got great covers, even though my personal favorite Prince cover is the Crimson and Clover from Lotus Flower, but there's some great covers on Emancipation. So I really dig Emancipation, and at the end of the day, that's what I'm picking to move on.
Very cool. I did the same thing with Emancipation, and I did it with when Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness came out from Smashing Pumpkins. I was like, these is two, and like each disc was longer than an hour, so I was like, I tackled each one as its own album, and it was funny because I was listening over and over to disc 1, and then 1979 came out as their next single, and I was like, what album's that song? Oh, it's the one I own. I just haven't gotten to the second disc yet. Anyway, it was kind of funny. Travis, Diamonds and Pearls versus Emancipation.
Another one that it definitely needs to be well discussed. I've been looking at some of the comments in here, and I was laughing at someone said, Jughead. Everyone laughs about Jughead so much. I get teased about that because I always thought Jughead was a fun song, and some people don't like Jughead from Diamonds and Pearls. But to me, Diamonds and Pearls was that album that came out, I would say, from the darkness of Batman, Graffiti Bridge, and then he had Devin's favorite hairdo, which is the Typhoon do, and then but he got his number one hit back, which was Cream, and then Get Off. We're all blown away with the style of the video, and then Diamond and Pearl, his new dancers, and there's a lot of Rosie on that album. But I am gonna go 100%. It's really kind of an unfair pairing because it's got 3 albums against this one great album.
Well, you have to remember, I'm a coward.
I know they were you said they were random. Yeah, I know it's saying your fault.
I'm a coward for putting these two against each other, of course.
No, I'm just saying that if it was going to come out that way, I would have loved to have seen Emancipation maybe go up against Crystal Ball. But
that could have been a good one. Yeah.
Emancipation, you can go through so many indexes in your brain of certain songs. Somebody's one of my favorites. Friend, Mother, Sister, Lover, Wife. Let's Have a Baby. It's really difficult for me to really pick one, but it's got that essence of when he finally got to the point. We got the Vaults, we got Come, and here's Gold Experience, and we're going, oh wow, and then bam, here's Emancipation. He's free, he's ready to pour it all out. White Mansion's another funky one. And Get Your Groove On, and of course it was always my favorite when he came out to the shows and did Jam of the Year. So Emancipation I'm going to have to go with, although it's going to be another thin line with me. Diamonds and Pearls is a fantastic album too, but you got that more music that's in your ears on that one. So
I don't know. I swore one of the two of you would have picked Diamonds and Pearls. I'm actually very surprised.
I went back and forth. This was a tough one. This actually was a tough one for me.
Wow. Okay. And then we're to the last one of round 1. So after this one, we are 100% done with the first pairings. And that is Chaos and Disorder versus Batman. And it's Jason starting us off.
Batman. Yeah, I like Batman. Batman's a good. The Future is a great song. It goes Future Electric Chair. And then you got Arms of Orion, which some people like, which is fine. They can like what they like. But those first 2 songs, and I'm a big fan of the Batman song. I think it holds up. I mean, everybody says it sounds a little dated, with all the samples and stuff, but nobody was really doing that in pop music in 1989. It was being done in hip hop, but not pop music so much. So for Prince to incorporate all those samples in a pop song that went to number 1, holy crap. I thought it was cool in 1989. I think it's cool in 2022. So Batman for the win.
Definitely. Travis.
I love Chaos and Disorder, the song Chaos and Disorder. I love that I rock, therefore I am. But I always felt when we got Chaos and Disorder, it felt like a short album. towards the end from I Will. I don't know. To me, it always felt like it should have been a little bit more. It was just something that Warner Brothers was like, our hair, we got to put this out. But of course, Batman. Nothing compares because it's part of his iconic personality as Party Man. I can listen to 15 different versions of Party Man, lawn take, 12-inch, 7-inch. I mean, just the Purple Party mix, man. I could listen to Party Man up, down, over and over and over. And I think probably one of the most romantic songs out there that you can cuddle up with your loved one is Scandalous, man. Scandalous, even the Scandalous sex suite from the Rapture, the Passion, amazing. But that whole genre in '89 with him who was just going to do a couple of songs, and he's like, no, I'm just going to do an album. It's Batman, hands down. Love that album.
I can't even refute any of the stuff that you guys are saying, but I chose Chaos and Disorder.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Because there's just something about Chaos and Disorder. There's this FU feel to it that I freaking love. The title track is amazing, but the one that really stands out on the album, well, two of them actually, Same December and Right the Wrong. Both of those songs blow me away every time. Like Right the Wrong is one of those songs that has the ability to bring me to tears. Like it's crazy when I start thinking about the lyrics, and if I actually sing along, I go, it's a thing. It happens. I'm sorry. So, and it's crazy because a lot of people, give Chaos and Disorder, flack. And the interesting thing is it's longer than Dirty Mind, which you did pick, Travis, but I get the idea that it feels like it should have been longer.
I've always felt like when you do after the Big Thump and I Rock, Therefore I Am, it goes Into the Light, and then it goes into I Will, and I always thought that was one song.
And it basically is, yeah.
And I forgot about I Like It There, Same December, and of course I love Dinner with Dolores, but
yeah,
I've seen some other posts where people are saying Electric Chair, of course, yeah.
That's the thing, right? Is like if we went track for track and compared them, for me, I think that Chaos and Disorder would end up on top. Mm-hmm. If you were like The Future, what you got to beat that? I'd be like, bam, Xanily. Next one, what you got? Electric Chair, bam. I Like It There, or Dig You Better Dead, or something. It's like there is a song I think to refute everything on Batman.
Lemon Crush, bam, what you got?
So my choice was Chaos and Disorder. Okay, so that is all of the really hard choices to see who even got to continue. And those were like, some of them were actually super easy, but some of them actually were quite difficult, which I always love with these sorts of things, right? So the first pairing, and I guess I'm going to have to do different ones because we have different answers now, but I believe both of you have Parade versus Dirty Mind, right?
We do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I guess the two of you can tell me what your choice is between those and why.
You want to go first, Travis?
Sure, I'll do that one. I will go Parade just because of the. I didn't really talk most about it, but I always like to tell people, give Under the Cherry Moon a second chance. Go watch it again. I that over and over and over and over, and seeing how the world of Around the World in a Day went into black and white, and everyone was in tuxedos, and just the funkiness from Girls and Boys, New Position. Of course, people will look at me. I'm like, Kiss pops on, you go, huh. But Mountains is one of my top 10 favorite songs of all time.
As it should be.
As it should. I love Mountains. Extended, whatever. But just even the background music that fit in from like Venus de Milo to Alexia de Paris. That album has a special meaning to me because I actually did get to go to I went on a trip to Spain with my wife, and we went to Nice and saw the hotel where they danced at. But it's just that genre that I remembered, that he was stepping out of the shoulder pads and the the buttons on the boots and everything like that. I'm talking more fashion than I am music, but musically wise, yeah. Christopher Tracy's Parade, but then when we get to Sometimes It Snows in April, that's what we think of now. And so I'll go with Parade on that one, even though Prince is a wonderful album. So did I say what I mean? Parade, excuse me.
And this is where I will differ with you, Travis. Ooh. I'm picking Dirty Mind over Parade in my next round. I love the aesthetic. I love this era of Prince's aesthetic where this is like a FU album, just like Chaos and Disorder was for him in the 90s. Dirty Mind's a big FU album too, literally and figuratively. So there's a lot going on here. He starts off basically with the title track, and it sounds like he's almost like monomaniacal about sex, like he's just obsessed with it. And it's you I really want to drive, and the video is just crazy with him dancing around in his underwear in front of these I don't know, these new wavers and these punk rock kids. And he fit right in, like the whole vibe of his band at the time. So this is like the first time then he brings a band with him and introduces these band members on his back cover or inside sleeve. So we get our first glimpse of Andre and Lisa and Bobby and Fink. And I just love this aesthetic. It was meant to do a certain thing, and that's really kind of put Prince's name on critics' lists, get him out there, get him off of like certain charts and onto other charts, which was a very calculated choice he made to become a critic's favorite, make music that basically he didn't give what, and write some crazy ass songs. Head, Sister. What is he doing? Yeah. And it worked. It was a total gamble. That could have been a career killer, right? Making songs like that in 1980 could have been a career killer. But people ate it up. The critics ate it up. And eventually the fans found it. I mean, he had a following at that time that was very devoted to him. And I love that for him. And then going back into his music after the success of Purple Rain, this was the album you'd like flipping through all of his tapes or CDs, and you see this album where he's standing there in his bikini briefs wearing a coat, and it's open. He's got the bed springs behind him. You're like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into by buying this? You almost feel like it should be behind the counter, right? Like it shouldn't really be available to just anybody to buy. It kind of felt like that kind of record in the 80s and even today. I love it. I just love it. Dirty Mind.
Very cool. I love that both of you picked different ones too. I love that. That's going to make our results way different. I love it. That means, but my answers were the exact opposite of yours. So my challenge here is Hit and Run Phase 1 versus Prince. And it's going to be Hit and Run Phase. Hit and Run Phase 2. It's Phase 2. Darn it. I typed that wrong. It's Phase 2 versus Prince, and Phase 2 wins. So, it's interesting because it's like his last album versus like one of his very first albums, and arguably Prince was his first big album because For You kind of went under the radar. So, I mean, you could argue that, but no, Hit and Run Phase 2, definitely just because I feel like, and this is something I've said on the channel before, you don't do something for 40 years and get worse at it. Like, it's like Phase 2, like Prince was like up here at the pinnacle of like, I'm as good as I'm ever going to be, and I feel like a lot of those songs, Big City, Stare, all of those, they just kind of blow Prince out of the water. Prince, the album, not him blowing himself out of the water, obviously. So Phase 2 for me in that very first round 2 challenge. Now, the second challenge, of course, we were all in agreement with our choices. So we really just have to all discuss the same challenge, which is Come versus Planet Earth. Travis, you go first. You go first on this one.
Okay.
Actually, no, you went first on the last one. Jason, you go first on this one.
I don't really have a lot more to say about this. I picked Come. I like Come better than Planet Earth, end of the day. To me, it's really not that close. It should have been closer. Planet Earth's great, but Come is, like back in the 90s when this album came out, I didn't know what to think of it. This was coming out around the same time as the Black Album was getting re-released, or released, I guess, for the first time 7 years later. But I'm like, wow, another album already? And it didn't have a lot of fanfare, and it said Prince on it. I'm like, oh, I thought he changed his name. So it's just very confusing. I thought it was like a collection of leftovers, but I really didn't know what to make of it. So it missed me in 1994. It missed me. I'm glad I caught it now, and Come is growing on me a lot. So it moves on, beats Planet Earth.
Awesome. Travis, what do you think?
I can talk about these. This is where I was catching up when he first came in. Planet Earth, I mean, great songs from Guitar, Chelsea Rogers, the One You Want to See. Love that album. But I'm going to agree with Come as well, too, because Simple Songs out of those had a lot of singles that came with it. And one of my favorite maxi singles is Space. Space has that one CD that has like 5 different versions of Space.
Oh, I love that
maxi single. That maxi single just thumping. Ain't gonna stop till you give me some of that funky stuff. That is, I can play that over and over as well too. And Pheromone, Acknowledge Me. Again, to me, it was all the era of glam slam, and that's where he shot a lot of it, and that's where I resonate from. Simple songs, but a nice broader horizon on different variants on singles like Let It Go. But I'll go with Come, definitely.
Awesome. My choice is also Come. And I actually really love Planet Earth for a variety of reasons. But I think for me, Come is kind of amazing from start to finish, whereas Planet Earth, I think, starts off way better than Come, but I feel like the awesomeness of it basically starts declining with each song. So it's less consistently awesome than Come is. So for that reason, because honestly, I love them both, and I the whole thing of like, if you handed me both CDs and said I could listen to one, which one would I pick? I'd be like, can we listen to one and then follow it up with the other? Like, for me, there's not a clear choice here. But for consistency, I will give it to Come. So that's my answer. The next one, though, is crazy. And this is, we also differed on this one a little bit too. So I'm going to let you two do it. And I guess Travis will start this one off. Welcome to America versus Purple Rain. It feels like that's going to be an easy one for the two of you, but let me know your thoughts on it.
I'll give you a brief thought. I have to excuse myself for just one moment. So, of course, Purple Rain. Welcome to America. Fantastic. I'm glad I'm still absorbing it from last year and I'm still listening to it. But it's going to be Purple Rain for me, of course. So, be right back.
That's fair. I can't even argue with it, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I don't really know if we have to have a big discussion about this one, because Purple Rain, again, is Purple Rain. It's massive.
Well, I guess really the discussion to be had is, did Welcome to America even have a chance?
No.
There you go. Well, then there's nothing really to discuss then.
I wish I could say yes, but no. Purple Rain is very, very special to me. It always will be. Very special.
And again, I can't even argue with that. I understand why people love it so much, and I love it as well. The way that it worked out for me is I have Welcome to America versus Rainbow Children.
I know, right?
Which is not any better, and I will actually say exactly the same thing. Welcome to America doesn't have a shot against Rainbow Children. I'm sorry, like it just doesn't. Welcome to America is really good, and I think it moved on because it was against MPL sound for me, and not because it is like the greatest thing ever. It is definitely high up on my list, though, but not higher than Rainbow Children, I guess is what I will say about that. So Rainbow Children ends up moving forward to the third round in my brackets, and it's Purple Rain for you and Travis. So I guess let's see what happens here with the last one, which for you, Jason, and Travis is Love Symbol versus Controversy. So,
Well, I actually had 1999 versus
oh wait,
Controversy.
what did I have here? No, that's right. The two of you both actually had, no. He picked. I have to create another one. Hold on.
It's okay. I mean, I can just talk to
Controversy.
1999 versus
But there has
Controversy.
to be a graphic. There you go. 1999 versus Controversy. That's right. So
Okay.
this one will actually all be all different for the three of us. That's interesting.
It is interesting. So this one for me is also a very easy choice, just like the last round. Picking 1999 to move on over Controversy. Controversy's cool. I mean, it's got great songs, but 1999's a beast. It's another beast, just like Purple Rain. I mean, for me, they're like right there together. So it's not. If you're going to talk about Purple Rain being a really special album, 1999's a really special album too.
Yeah.
Especially for me. And I love it more and more every time I hear it. I never get tired of it. And I find new songs to be my favorite. Little Red Corvette was one of my favorite Prince songs of all time for decades. And it still is. But even this late in the game, almost, 40 years this year after its release, I'm still finding new songs to be my new favorites. Like Automatic is now my favorite song off the album.
Oh, so you're with me now. Yes.
Maybe 2 years ago, it was Something in the Water.
Yeah.
So it changes. It changes. And I can't say the same about Controversy. Controversy has one or two songs that are going to be my favorites, and it never really deviates from that. 1999 is super strong from top to bottom. And even like my quote unquote least favorite song, which might be Free, is a song that can sometimes, depending on my mood, almost bring me to tears. So my least favorite song can bring me to tears. That's a pretty special album. So 1999.
Very cool. And if I had to pick between 1999 and Controversy, I would also pick 1999. So kudos to you for making the choice I would make. Yours, Travis, is Love Symbol versus Controversy.
I am going to stick with the Love Symbol. I cannot tell you how much fun I had with that album. Controversy is a masterpiece, even going back when we were talking a minute ago about 1999. But it's just something about when that album came out and just the I don't know, the tour, the the symbol, like I said before, and then Maite coming to the scene, and just a couple songs just went back to my head. Oh my God. Love to the Nines is what I will say. Love to the Nines. I can sing that over and over the back of my head. And God Created Woman. I've always been kind of like scratching my head over the Sacrifice of Victor. Oh man. But it's wait, the Sacrifice of Victor was the operatic song, correct? I always get those
Three
two.
Chains of Gold.
Three Chains of Gold. Okay, I'm sorry. That's I knew someone was going to yell at me. Sacrifice of Victor's funky. 3 Chains of Gold is the one that was the operatic one that I felt it was like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
So we went through that phase where once Diamonds and Pearls ended and the Love Symbol came out, we had that whole movie of 3 Chains of Gold. We had that whole story of on how Maite got into it, became she was the Arabian princess that showed up in his life. And there was really no love interest in it yet until we got closer into Gold Experience with both of them. But he had a major story out of it that just kind of captivated me. And I just remember that's when I started seeing a lot more Prince fans outside of where I lived in Arizona. And I was running into people during this period of the album, Glam Slam, whether it be at concerts and all that stuff. And then, the thumping My Name is Prince is just like, you could still walk down the street and mouth the word and people are like, what's wrong with that person? So yeah, I'm going to stick to my guns on this one. I will always love 1999 and Controversy, but I love the Love Symbol. I do. It may change here. I will say it may change here in just a second, but
very cool. And then I have for this challenge Love Symbol versus Hit and Run Phase 1. And I have the Love Symbol winning as well. So even though we took different paths there, Travis, we both have the Love Symbol there in that slot there. Yeah, honestly, it has so many great songs on it. And Hit and Run Phase One hits a certain chord for me that I feel the Love Symbol hits and more, whereas Phase One just hits that chord. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the Love Symbol goes over and beyond, and it's just such a great example of Prince's just huge creative chops, just to have even made something to that caliber of an album. So it is the Love Symbol for me as well. So that brings us to the next phase, round two. And actually, as soon as the round twos are done, we only have a few of these. The Gold Experience versus Lotus Flower, and this is the same for all three of us. So I'm going to have Travis start, and then it'll end on Jason. I think that'll work out good.
I'll keep mine brief, and it will be Gold Experience. I said it once before. Interactive, most beautiful girl in the world. I hate you. 319 now. That's all I got to say. We'll leave it at that.
There you go. For me, kind of the same. It's going to be the Gold Experience. It's for me, it actually was pretty hard choice. Both of them have really amazing rock elements to them, and like Lotus Flower almost got the edge, but I think I have to give it to the Gold Experience just for the breadth that it has in it. It's just an amazing album, so I will give it to Gold Experience as well. Jason.
Yeah, this was one I also had some trouble with. I went back and forth a little bit, waffled on my choice. I even wrote one down and scratched it out and went back to a different answer. Gold Experience is what I picked. I kind of wish I went a different direction from you guys, but I didn't, so I'm not going to pretend like I did. Gold Experience.
Well, and that's fair too. It's just it's kind of like it's kind of like the 3121 versus Around the World in a Day is how I feel. It's like these two albums literally, they are like on the same level. They are both amazing, and just one of them has to win. Just how it works. Which is funny because the next one is also one that we all agreed on, which was Graffiti Bridge versus Sign of the Times. Let's start with you, Jason.
I picked Sign of the Times. So let's say Graffiti Bridge was just Prince songs, and I'm sorry to those who like the Time songs on Graffiti Bridge and Mavis Staples and Tevin Campbell, but I'm not in love with the Time songs on this album. I don't think they're that good overall. So they kind of bring them down. The whole album brings it down a little bit for me. So if it's just the Prince songs on Graffiti Bridge, it's a stronger album. That's just my opinion. Sign of the Times is Sign of the Times again. So like my least favorite song in Sign of the Times is still going to be better than maybe I'm going to enjoy that more than like half of Graffiti Bridge already. So I got to pick Sign of the Times over Graffiti Bridge. I love them both, but picking Sign of the Times.
Again, somebody has to win.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Travis.
Jason just basically said everything I was going to say. Graffiti Bridge is near and dear to my heart, and there's songs that are just so catchy coming in and out. But it's Sign of the Times is just a masterpiece, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want to rehash that one again, but I'm like, yeah, if you're giving me two albums again and saying which one, it's got to be Sign of the Times.
All right, and also in further trying not to just rehash everything or repeat anything, my choice was Sign of the Times too. And you guys realize how hard that was for me with Graffiti Bridge being that's my love right there. But really,
maybe you might pick it. I really did. I thought
but it falls under the same thing that I said before. It's like if I divorce myself from my love of this album and I really just go track for track, Sign of the Times is just way more better, like really good songs. So I wouldn't even say that the songs on Sign of the Times are better, than Graffiti Bridge quality wise, but there's more higher quality songs on Sign of the Times than there is on Graffiti Bridge. And I think, Jason, you hit the nail on the head. I think it's because there's those Time songs, there's the Tevin, and it really does mix it mixes in well for what Graffiti Bridge was meant to be. But then it also waters it down when you are then comparing it to other Prince-only projects.
Right.
So I can't even argue with that. As much as I love the album, Sign of the Times ends up going through for me. So with that in mind, your next thing, Travis, if I recall, is 3121 versus Around the World in a Day. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait. Those were the first round choices. 3121 around.
Oh, I'm sorry. 31. You have 31. So you have For You versus Around the World in a Day. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's it.
And so did I. Yeah.
Okay. So For You versus Around the World in a Day. I had it right, actually. Then I wasn't crazy. All right. So so what ends up being your winner, Travis, from For You and Around the World in a Day?
Around the World in a Day. I have to say, because of just that era, we were all anticipating to see what Prince would put out next after Purple Rain. And I and both Jason and I'll probably say the same thing, Condition of the Heart. The Ladder, I left out of there as well, too. Another great one. America. I love the different longer versions of America. And even Around the World in a Day has a bunch of singles that go into 12 inches a lot more than you see in the earlier albums. So I'm always that guy that likes to hear the songs that are a little bit longer than anything else. And he's got a bunch from Pop Life to America. And, their B-sides held up well too, with Hello, She's Always in My Hair. So I'm going to go with Around the World in a Day.
Awesome. And For You and Around the World in a Day for Jason too.
Agreed with Travis. Around the World in a Day, all day, every day. not close. I love For You. It's not close.
Not even close. If that was my choice, I would also agree with you. But my choice is actually Deliverance versus 3121, which again is completely opposite from the two of you, which is why it was.
We're going to go take a nap over here real quick while you talk.
Well, but that's why it's fun to have you guys on here that have completely different thoughts.
I'm interested. I'm really interested in what your take is on it.
Yeah. But for me, I'm going to give it to 3121. Mostly because I think it actually ends up being that, because Deliverance is, I think, more of an EP and less of a full explorative album than 3121 is. Funny enough, they were both recorded around the same time. If I recall, Deliverance was either 2006, 2007, and obviously 3121 came out in 2006. So they have a similar feel. They have a similar, like mastering, mixing, process. So it's like you can't even fault either one for that. But I think in the end, it has to go down to 3121 because it has the dance, So I mean, that's just how that is, as I stated earlier. So yeah. So 3121 for me on that one. And then let's see what we have here. You guys have Emancipation versus Batman. So that's going to be a tough one for you guys. Jason, you start that one off.
This is the other one, along with Gold Experience and Lotus Flower, when I wrote one out, wrote an answer down, crossed it off, wrote another, because I went back and forth. I wish I'm going to pick Emancipation, and the reason why is because I think that I can create a 60 to 90 minute album that is stronger than Batman from top to bottom. Batman's a really good kind of shortish. Well, it's not really that short. It's like normal length when you compare it against Emancipation. It's like a 5'10" person standing up against Shaquille O'Neal. Of course, they're going to look small. So Emancipation is just too big to ignore. And I like, there's the songs I like on it. Like if I took like 10 to 12 of my favorite songs on Emancipation, it's a better album to me than Batman. So that's why I'm picking it.
So this is not my challenge here, but I just want to point out that Emancipation, I did that challenge in a video where I broke the 3 discs of Emancipation down to one album. That was a really crazy video, and a lot of you hated it, but it's a fun watch. So go watch it. It's a fun one. But Travis, Emancipation versus Batman.
Leaving out some stuff out of Emancipation, I want to give notable mention to, because I saw some people in the chat talk about it. Definitely, I forgot Holy River, Sex in the Summer, One Kiss at a Time, Soul Sanctuary, Dreaming About You. I like Joint to Joint a lot. Style, that's another song to get ready to. I love that. And then, of course, I really, in my heart, really love the song The Love We Make out of that one too. A big, fantastic album, but I'm gonna throw a curveball. I'm sticking with Batman.
Whoa!
Batman to me is the era. Batman to me was that was the only thing we talked about in '89 was Michael Keaton Batman, Jack Nicholson Batman, and then Prince being a part of it as well too. It just was that dark, gritty Tim Burton era. And it's a playful thing that you can revisit. I would say that even if, since we're out of quarantine now, we can go back and have parties. And you think about, some people have parties on Halloween and we dress up as either Party Man, Batman, or the Joker, or it's a very, very time capsulated album that I look back and I go, what a fun album compared to, we have all these other Batman movies that you never had a pop album that was with that. You didn't have like a Britney Spears doing The Dark Knight or something like that. This was kind of the era for me, and I'll stick with Batman. Love Emancipation, but I'm going to go with that. I did a last minute change. That's my curveball.
Hey, I am here for it. Okay, well then you have Batman, which brings me to my challenge, which is Emancipation versus Chaos and Disorder. And for me, Emancipation, for a lot of the same reasons that Jason said. I think Emancipation is probably one of Prince's strongest albums. If for nothing else, just the vast amount of music that is there, the wall of music that you hit when you would put that on. And I saw a lot of people in the chat saying like, oh, I skipped this song and I skipped that song. And it's like, that's like my road trip album. And I will start with Jam of the Year and I don't turn it off until The Love We Make, I believe is the last song. Now I'm blank. No. The last song is Friend, Lover, Sister, Mother, Wife. So like I hit that and then I listen all the way through. It is an amazing road trip, especially if your trip is longer than 3 hours or at least 3 hours, but it's an amazing road trip album. I do that all the time. So it's definitely going to be Emancipation for me personally. I understand if other people want to go in a different direction, but Emancipation. But I'm loving the differences in our things here. So, all right, that's all of round 2. We're on to round 3 now. We are almost done.
This is the Elite Eight. The Elite Eight is what we call
it. Is that what we call them? Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Okay, well then, for the first one, I believe this is for Travis. No, wait, I'm going to do yours first, Jason. Dirty Mind versus Come.
Dirty Mind. Dirty Mind. I mean, I've already expanded on why I love Dirty Mind so much. And as much as I love Come, a Dirty Mind is just going to beat it. It's just simple. It's going to beat it.
Okay. Hey. Parade versus Come. What?
I'm going Parade. I'm going to stick with girls and boys, new position. I'm going to stay with Parade.
And honestly, my choice between Hit and Run Phase 2 and Come, it's Phase 2. It's interesting because Come is, I think it's destined to be the bride's maid and not the bride, I guess, from all of us. We all chose the other one that was not Come, which is interesting because Come was the clear winner through the last 2 rounds. For me, Hit and Run, I think it just has a different flair to it and that I appreciate more and that I listen to more than Come. But Come is amazing too. So don't get it twisted. Come is still amazing. All right. So then the next one for because now I don't know if you guys have been hearing me type these. I'm trying to go in and like actually remember what you guys are picking and get them right. So we have Purple Rain versus the Love Symbol album. I believe that's Travis.
I've been sitting here praising Love Symbol over and over and over. The era, the songs, the story, the fashion, sexy MF. My name is Prince and everything, but I am going to go Purple Rain. Only because of the fact that Purple Rain is the soundtrack of my life and most of our lives as well too. And I look at it, Purple Rain was and is Prince, and it's funny when you ever go to Minneapolis, and we've been to Minneapolis. When you get into town, the first thing that you get into town, you hear When Doves Cry in Your Head, and you hear Take Me With You if you're going to Henderson. So I'm gonna. I adore. I love the Love Symbol album, but I'm gonna go Purple Rain because it's just the lengthy history of it. So
I think that's fair. That would be a tough one for me if I had to put those two together, and I'm glad I don't. I'm not even going to answer what I would pick. I'm going to move on to Jason, and I know this one's going to be an interesting fight because Purple Rain versus 1999.
Oh, this kills me. This kills me to pick between these two before we even get to the final four. Like this is like two heavyweights going at it. This is like Ali versus Tyson at their peak. This is Lakers versus Celtics in the 80s. These are monster albums going against each other. And and you asked me last year, or asked me 2 years ago, I might have given a different answer. But in 2022, 2000 Party Over. Oops, out of time, but it's not over for 1999. I'm picking 1999.
Damn. Oh, I'm so excited. I love it when Purple Rain doesn't win things. It's interesting, right?
You guys didn't even get 1999 out of the first round, so I got to be the flag waver for this album throughout this.
That is true. Wow. Okay, so we're all gonna have we all have a different song in the first Final Four slot. We all have a different song in the second one because, of course, mine is the Rainbow Children versus Love Symbol. That's my challenge, and here I wrote down Rainbow Children, and I think I'm going to stick with that. Again, as much as I love the Love Symbol album, if we are putting them against each other musically, that's a hard contest. But then let's do it story-wise. Again, Rainbow Children has a much more cohesive story being told with music. And of course, because I'm the one making the choice, I get to set the criteria. And this one's going to be a storytelling criteria because I have no other real reason to say one is better than the other at this point. So I'm going to say Rainbow Children for a better told story than with Love Symbol. But it hurts me either way. I really feel like I should go like track for track and be like, is this one better than this one? Is this one better than this one? With those two albums, because I really feel I'm going to write that down. I'm going to make a whole video about that because that should be a video. Oh my gosh, I'm writing that down right now.
These are two very different albums from the sound perspective.
Yes.
Too.
Oh, definitely. Sound the feel and the sound and everything completely different. Yeah. But yeah, I got to give it to the Rainbow Children there. So, okay. The next one is actually, we're all the same. It's interesting. Bracket 3, we've been all the same this whole time. So let's see where we end up. The Gold Experience versus Sign of the Times. And I will let Travis go first so that it doesn't end on me.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to hash it out. I'm just going to say an answer. The Gold Experience.
Nice. Okay.
A little bit of an upset.
It's a little bit.
I'm not going to hash it. I saw someone putting a comment about picking your favorite child, and it's kind of like in that boat. But I'm listening in my brain, and all I hear is Billy Jack bitch. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
There you go. For me, I guess I won't belabor it either. Yeah, I picked the Gold Experience as well. I actually really like Sign of the Times, but it has never necessarily been like that pinnacle of albumship that it is kind of for everybody else. I really like it, but I love the Gold Experience. If for nothing else, just the scream and endorphin machine is enough to win a lot of contests. Because there has never been a better scream on any Prince album than an endorphin machine. Go watch my very first top 10 Prince screams video, and you'll see that it was my very first number one, even though I've done that video a few times since. But it was the very first number one for a reason. So my choice was also the Gold Experience. But what you got, Jason?
I'm going to differ from you guys. I'm picking Sign of the Times. Sign of the Times goes on for the reasons as follows. If I Was Your Girlfriend, Adore, Ballad of Dorothy Parker, Forever in My Life, Sign of the Times. I even like You Got the Look. And a lot of people are like, yeah, that song's pretty mid. But I love You Got the Look. So I'm picking Sign of the Times. Yeah, I mean, it depends on who you pay attention to. I tend to pay attention to people that don't like the same stuff I do. So that sticks with me. And I'm like, Riley, I thought You Got the Look was a really great song. But anyway, I'm picking Sign of the Times.
Sign of the Times for Jason.
One of us has to get Sign of the Times in the final four, right? So I'll be the one.
That's true. And I was also interested to see if we really stuck completely together the entire bracket. And I'm actually happy we didn't. I like differences in the challenges. Okay. Well, then the next one, if I recall, is... Well, for you two, it is, and I didn't write it down, but it's Around the World in a Day versus Emancipation, right? Yeah.
It is for me.
Okay. So if it is for you, you go.
Okay. So for me, Around the World in a Day versus Emancipation, I am going to pick Around the World in a Day. I think I like that album more than most people. I might be wrong. Maybe Around the World in a Day has gained status over the decades, but it used to be considered a weak album by a lot of people. Critics didn't like it as much when it came out. Fans were disappointed because it wasn't Purple Rain 2. It got a lot of flack back in the day. They thought songs like Tambourine and Temptation were just too out there, too weird. They thought Condition of the Heart was maybe too experimental. It has this long opening before Prince even sings a word in that song. And the style changes threw people off, but I think Around the World in a Day has really aged well. And I also think Emancipation's a great album, and I already explained why I have it going as far as it did, but I love Around the World in a Day, and I just can't pick against it at this point.
That's fair. That is fair. For you, Travis, you have Around the World in a Day versus Batman.
Yeah, short and simple. I'm going to go the same route as Jason because it's Around the World in a Day. I've said, coming out of Purple Rain into that aspect with Raspberry Beret and all of that and everything. And then, like I said before, I'm gonna go with Around the World in a Day. It's a hard one to choose, but I mean, yeah, if that's the route I'm going. So
okay. All right. Wow. I was not prepared for that. That's kind of crazy. Okay. Well then, so that's brackets 1 and 2. If we go to Gold Experience, and then
you haven't picked yet for this.
Wait, where am I? Because I'm trying to keep track of it over here.
Don't you have 3121 against?
I have 3121 versus Emancipation. You are correct.
Yeah.
3121 versus Emancipation. That was hard because Emancipation does not have the dance. But but I actually did pick Emancipation, and I think it's for a lot of the same reasons that we've said this whole time. There's so much good music on that, and I feel like you could compile several different albums out of the album that it is, and it would be really, really hard for a lot of albums to beat Emancipation. There are a few that could, and I guess we'll see if the winner on the other side, if that works. So it's Emancipation for me. Yeah. Oh, that hurt. So, wow. Okay. So that brings us to
We're in our final four now.
We are in the final four now.
Final four.
You're the
Yeah.
first challenge for Jason out of the final four is 1999 versus Dirty Mind.
Yeah, this one sucks. I don't want to pick this one. No, actually, I mean, it's tough because I don't want to ever see Dirty Mind lose, and I didn't want to see Purple Rain lose. But Dirty Mind's going to lose. It's going to lose against 1999 for me.
Wow.
1999's bigger, better, more productive. It just has more to it. Dirty Mind's a great, slap you across the face record. Wake your ass up. 1999 has more. It's more expansive. It shows off more of Prince's pop skills, which is important for his career. I mean, I think the biggest pop song or any song off of Dirty Mind that could come close from a pop standpoint might have been When You Were Mine, and that wasn't even a single.
Yeah.
At least not for him. And so nothing on Dirty Mind is better than, in my opinion, Little Red Corvette or 1999. So I'm picking 1999 to move on to the championship round.
There you go. I can't even disagree with when you say it like that. Like nothing on Dirty Mind is better than Little Red Corvette. I mean, that does kind of say it all right there. I would be like, yeah, you're kind of right. I like Private Joy a lot, but I think it almost gets there, but it doesn't quite beat Little Red Corvette. Travis, your first of the final four matchups is Parade versus Purple Rain. Go, sir.
I'll do it short and sweet. Vous êtes très belle, mama, girls and boys. I'm sticking with Parade. I love Parade.
Wow.
It's just a fun album.
I was not expecting that.
Purple Rain's a masterpiece, but I will go Parade.
Wow. Okay. Wow, you have me speechless over here. That's crazy. Right. I thought for sure you were going to do Purple Rain.
So nobody's going to have Purple Rain in the championship because Travis is gone and you've already. It's already gone.
No, it was gone early for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys should know me by now. Purple Rain ain't gonna make it through unless it's put up against something that like I just can't. I have no justification.
Like if the dance was a separate album, it'd already be there. So.
Exactly. Purple Rain ain't got the dance.
No.
So my first final four challenge is Hit and Run Phase 2 versus Rainbow Children. And yeah, I gave that to Rainbow Children. I feel like Rainbow Children is such an experience and does jump from like, funky to like mellow to like, laid back to like really high energy dance stuff. And I think it really has the ability to do that. As great as Hit and Run Phase 2 is, a lot of the songs on it feel samey, comparatively at least. Like all the songs have like the trumpet and they all have like the same kind of drum, like they all have the same flavor, whereas I feel like the Rainbow Children really tried to do a lot of different things on there and tell a cohesive story. So I'm gonna go with the Rainbow Children for the first one in my final two. And and that was definitely super, super hard. So that means that Jason's second match in this is the Gold Experience. No, wait, nope. It was Sign of the Times versus Around the World in a Day.
Correct. Yes, that's my final four matchup. Sign of the Times. It's almost perfect. Some would say it is perfect. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's close. I think it's really close. So I'm picking Sign of the Times.
Is there did Around the World in a Day even have a chance? I guess would be the question there.
Again, Sign of the Times. Sorry, no. No.
That's fair. A lot of people really love Sign of the Times, so I can't even argue with that. So all right, so Jason.
Boring answer. Sorry. I like it more. If you had it, if you were telling me to choose an album, I had to throw one in the trash, and one came with me for the rest of my life. I'm picking Sign of the Times.
That's fair. All right, so Travis, your second final four matchup is the Gold Experience versus Around the World in a Day. Am I correct?
Yes.
And what are you thinking, sir? Like,
I
that's a really tough one for me.
It is. I had to do a narrow margin on this one as well too, and it's kind of the same. Around the world in a day is not going to make it this time. I'm sticking with the gold experience. As much as I kind of praised around the world in a day off and on, again, I'm now in that bracket category where my final two are like the fun ones in my head. And I know I explained how much I love the longer songs from around the world in a day, but gold experience is just too funky, too funky. So
too funky.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the gold experience.
Right. And then, mine is, what is mine? Mine is the gold experience. And I didn't actually write it out. Mine is the gold experience versus Emancipation is what I have. And that one is very, very hard for me. That's not it. So it was Emancipation. So EM versus TGE. Since I'm typing it in the moment, it's going to be abbreviated. Oh my God, that's a really tough one though. I went with Emancipation, kind of just in the moment. Oh no, I'm sorry. I went with the gold experience. See, I kind of want to say Emancipation right now though. I wrote down the gold experience, but like I'm weighing them against each other, and it's really hard. Like honestly, the gold experience would be one of the examples I would give that could beat Emancipation. I don't know why I'm wavering on this right now.
You're having a crisis of faith.
I kind of am, because the gold experience should just easily win this, right?
Coin flip.
I mean, neither of them have the dance, right? But I'm going to give it to Emancipation. I'm changing my answer that I had written down here. And I think just based on all of the arguments that you guys have given and that I've given, and we've all talked about Emancipation a ton here, I think I got to give it to Emancipation as much as I love the gold experience. That is the weirdest thing ever. Again, when I filled this out, I wrote down easily gold experience, bam, but yeah. All right. I don't know. That's it. Okay.
Go with your gut.
Both are good. Well, that means that, Jason, we're going to start with you. That means your final showdown,
Sign of Times versus 1999. Yeah, well, I kind of showed my hand by wearing this shirt. So anyone was paying attention, they might have figured out what album I was going to pick. It was a little clue, a little Easter egg I hit. So yeah, I'm picking 1999 over Sign of the Times. I don't know, just something about 1999 sticks with me a little bit more. I like that era. I like the Minneapolis sound from, that he was perfecting in 1982. Just everything about 1999 speaks to me in a way musically. And then the lyrics, he just does so much with the lyrics. He acts in 1999 like he's not a superstar. He's still just a guy in Minneapolis making music and hoping that he becomes famous. And he's talking about relationship problems that I don't think he really had a lot of those types of problems later in his life, maybe. A song like Something in the Water, and I know Irresistible Bitch is a B-side from that era, but they kind of have similar themes where like, man, why do women treat me like crap? And later on in his career, he doesn't have so many of those because either he's not feeling as vulnerable or he just doesn't have those life experiences to write songs about anymore. And I related to that a lot when I was younger. I related to his angsty lyrics. I like weird angsty Prince, and
me too.
And he's very weird and angsty on 1999. So I love the album so much. Like, oh my God, the end of the world. Let's dance. Let's fuck. Let's let's do all of this stuff.
It's interesting too that you ended up with that final two, because like they're both double albums. They're both heralded as like some of Prince's best work. If you couldn't, it's hard. Like you can't be like Sign of the Times Disc 1 is better than 2. Like they're both equal. Same thing with 1999. It seems like both ends of it are just, they're both, I mean, I think that would be a really tough one for me. I'm surprised you came up with the answer so fast, honestly.
Yeah. I thought about it ahead of time, of course. But yeah.
I mean, yes, of course you did. But like in the moment, I'm trying to react to this. And honestly, I think I'm I think I might have went with Sign of the Times. I don't know, but that's a hard one.
Sure, a lot of
I don't
people
even
would.
know.
Yeah.
Travis, what would your choice be between Sign of the Times and 1999?
If this was mine, I would probably go Jason's route because it's the raw old school talent that just came out and set the bar for Purple Rain. It was, we as a culture didn't really know much about Prince because not a lot of Prince videos were being played on MTV, and then Michael came on, and then that album came out, and then poof, he had 3 or 4 videos with the band, and it always resonates with the background of the pole and it's just like all that beginning portions from Dirty Mind Controversy was really tuned up into 1999, and that's when we got into Purple Rain. But it was like really, if you want to say something like the essence out of Prince of what made him 1999, because you can go back and say, well, I remember him doing that in Purple Rain. Like, well, just take a year back and you'll see some stuff that is remnant to Purple Rain. But I mean, still, Sign of the Times is a masterpiece. But if you had to give it to me, I would say 1999. So
that's a real. I mean, for me, that's a really, really hard one. So that's interesting, though. I would have gone against Jason. You would have been with Jason. Okay. Travis, your final is Parade versus The Gold Experience. Walk us through that.
Okay. I think I might be wearing a shirt that as well that kind of, it doesn't say Gold Experience. All right, so like I said before, Parade, fun album, different take to where I love, like I said before, Mountains. I love Do You Lie. I love New Position. I Wonder You. I love that whole ball of energy that was Under the Cherry Moon and Parade, that era. Everything just before Sign of the Times. But it came into another era for me when it was Gold, and I'm going with Gold Experience mainly because of just the rawness of the songs and the birth of other songs that kind of came out of it. Pussy Control was, I remember friends of mine who weren't big Prince fans, and they even heard him, like ladies heard that song, and they were like, "Oh, I'm going on the dance floor to this one," and because they loved that song. And you're right with Endorphin Machine, his screams. Every time I hear "Shh," I keep thinking that I think that's his like most overplayed live song, but it's still fantastic to hear. Dun 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 dun. We March. That's a great lyrical song. Most Beautiful Girl was in that one, so that was the first video that came out of that one. People leave out Dolphin. I love, and people sometimes give me flack that they think Dolphin is kind of a goofy song. No, I love Dolphin. Just in the video of it too, the closeness of the band and everything. And then you hear Now in 319, which I feel like that was born. That came after that came out. Then you have songs like The Undertaker and The Ride and Days of Wild. Shy, fantastic. Cool Dark Skin and Hot Virgin White. And then I have a lot of female friends that love Billy Jack Bitch too. Some of my Prince fans here in Arizona are like, oh, let's go Billy Jack Bitch. It's a big party album for me, and it's a big transformation to see him in that album fighting what he was fighting at that time with Slave on his face and all that, but still putting out that beautiful music such as Gold and I Hate You. I doing these brackets with you, Aloy, is always mind-boggling because we'll go back a couple of days later and go, no, I want to change my answer.
Oh yeah.
Right now in my heart, I just love that album. He was put that album out in the world where people going, he just changed his name. He must be weird. He's not talking to anybody. He's walking around with the beekeeper cloth on his face, during MPG. It was a fun, wonderful era for us Prince fans that stuck behind and watched this and had this album that had came out after all the brilliant stuff we had before. So I'm gonna. That's my definition of why I like the Gold Experience a lot.
I'm down with that. I think that. I mean, I think you said it. I can't even refute anything you just said.
Yeah.
Jason, if you had to pick Parade or the Gold Experience, which one would you have picked?
Tough one. I'm picking Parade though. I've been thinking about it ever since it was beside Travis' final two were picked. I'm like, what would I do in this situation? And I think I would go Parade simply again because of mountains, and Sometimes It Snows in April are two songs that I just can't live without. So I'm picking Parade.
Yeah. And I would be the opposite. I would have picked the Gold Experience. I'm mad at myself that the Gold Experience didn't get through on mine. So I would pick it if it was that. I would definitely pick it. So
but to me, it was like a secrecy album too. It's like we knew stuff about the Gold Experience that was coming out, and I remember when he performed on David Letterman that he was promoting it, but he goes, "Which this is the Gold Experience, which will never be released at all," which makes perfect sense why he's here tonight promoting it. And then we had the test pressings of the Gold albums. It was a mysterious album that came out when he changed his name and everything, but he still, people were like going, well, this is not a huge load of, this is a fantastic album. Where the direction he's going, we're sticking with him. We're going to see where this goes. So that's why I went that way.
Very cool. All right. Well, so we're down to my final two now.
The dance.
So let's, it's not the dance, sadly. It's not the dance versus every other song. It is actually Emancipation versus Rainbow Children. That ended up being my final one. I don't know how that happened. I will first say that I love that we all had different final twos. I love that. So my choice here, and that's actually the one thing I didn't fill out on my paper. Even when originally it was going to be Rainbow Children versus the Gold Experience, I didn't choose because it was hard. Now it's Rainbow Children versus Emancipation. It's even harder. I think in the grand scheme of things, I think it's gonna have to go to the Rainbow Children. I think just with it just being such a cohesive experience, it's not overly long, it's not overly short. There's a lot of ups and downs. Oh gosh, no, I'm gonna give it to Rainbow Children. I love the album, and I have listened to that album a billion and one times. So it's got the work, it's got mellow, it's got She Loves Me for Me, it's got so many amazing songs on there that I hate that Emancipation can't win it because it also has just as good as songs. But the Rainbow Children, I feel like Prince was like, no, this album is perfect. Do you want to add two more tracks to that, Prince? No. What about another disc? Do you want to make it a double? No, it doesn't need to be a double disc. Here you go. Here's perfection. Here you go. Here's Rainbow Children. So yeah, no, Rainbow Children down. That's the winner of my bracket. So, Jason, if you had to choose between Emancipation and the Rainbow Children.
Yeah, I'll side with you on this one. I'd go Rainbow Children as well. The same reasons you picked it. I like the fact that you can listen to it in one sitting. That's a nice thing. I don't need a 3-hour road trip to get all the way through it. And once I move past the voice, because like Travis, sometimes the voice it bothers me a little bit, and that's a personal thing. I mean, Prince don't care if I liked it or not.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, again, I think the songs that we got on the Rainbow Children are very strong, and musically, wow, and I think it ages a little bit. Emancipation does have some songs that sound very 90s. Not that 1999 doesn't have songs that sound very 80s. It does. It absolutely does. I think I just like the sound of Rainbow Children, even though it only came out a handful of years later, it just has a more sophisticated sound that I
Yeah.
personally enjoy more.
Sounds good. What about you, Travis? Are you hating on my decision here?
No, I the funniest thing when it comes to Rainbow Children, I'm not hating on the decision, but I am going to go Emancipation. But the funny thing about Rainbow Children to me is that the songs off of Rainbow Children to me sound better when he did them live, especially from One Night Alone. His version of 1+1+3, phenomenal from Portland. The version that he does, the Everlasting Now on Jay Leno, amazing with Sheila in the background. I think one they considered it a song. Wedding Feast always threw me. I think it was like a little chuckle for all of us. A feast, a feast. Just was like, I think it's like one of those. He's checking in on you to see if you're listening and everything. But yeah, I love mellow and willing to do the work. But with the extensive portion of Emancipation, there's that, like we talked about earlier. I do agree that would be my pick because of the amount of songs, and it just came out of how much he was free and did that.
Yeah,
that's what I would go with. But I'm a bigger Rainbow Children fan if it was more of the live stuff, like you heard from One Night Alone.
Yeah.
I think I'm more content if it's live than it is the regular studio album. So
I feel you there. So what we ended up with was Jason's winner of this bracket was 1999. Travis's was The Gold Experience, and Eloy's was Rainbow Children. I was waiting to see you guys put your winners in the chat because I'm very curious as to which albums ended up winning from all of you. And of course, let me say this again. I said it at the beginning, but Artificial Age I took it off because I knew I would be biased if Artificial Age was on here. But Love Sexy and Musicology, two of my other amazingly huge albums, really high up on my list, got knocked out in the randomization process.
That's what I was going to ask because I came in late, and I think if we got to the end, Love Sexy is one of my favorite albums. Yeah. I thought maybe you had missed it, and New Power Soul as well.
Yeah,
but Love Sexy would have been in my final two if it got in there. So
it had to be, like, for me too. That's what I'm saying. I wish it was on here, but also Musicology. I see somebody says, Matthew, you're saying, well, Love Sexy won for me. That means you didn't do the bracket, sir, because it's not on there. It's not on there.
It won.
I mean, it wins because it's an amazing album, but it's not on the bracket, so it can't win. It literally just can't. And I'm actually kind of happy that Musicology was not here. What's that?
So it missed the tournament. It was ineligible for the tournament.
Exactly. It got disqualified way early on before the matches even started.
Yeah, Levi Feaster had an injury, so that's why we put him on the bench. So,
but yeah, I mean, honestly, there were a bunch of albums. News was one. Let me bring up my list here so I'll tell you which albums didn't even appear, because there were quite a few of them, actually. At one time when I was putting this together, I had the idea of treating each disc of the multi-disc albums kind of like as their own albums. So like Emancipation Disc 1 was going to be on here. So was Emancipation Disc 2, that sort of thing. But then I still, because the idea was that it needed to get up to a certain number for it to be long. And I ended up just dropping it down to 32, which meant that didn't make any sense anymore. So it all got condensed back down. But yeah, the Black Album is also not on here. That's also another one. News isn't on here. What's the one? The one that has Copenhagen and Tokyo and C-Note's not on here. One Night Alone's not on here.
New Power Soul.
New Power Soul's not on here. So there were quite a few just because. What's that? Expectation. Obviously, Kama Sutra is not on here. Crystal Ball. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and what it ended up being is just that I needed it to be 36 for the way brackets work. So some stuff had to be left off, and it sucks that Love Sexy didn't even make the thing. Next time we do it,
Yeah.
Love Sexy will be on there for sure.
Folks, we'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back. It'll be good. So let's see here. So I'm seeing some 1999's one. All right. LP says that Artificial Age one, that can't be. Crystal Ball should have been on there. Again, it was all random, so it's not like I fucking hate Crystal Ball. It's not gonna, it's like I didn't do that. It was random, guys.
Is Fix Your Life Up would be considered too, or is that more Third Eye Girl?
No,
Plectrum
Electrum.
Sorry.
Yeah, Plectrum Electrum. Did I even have that? I think I left it off just because I didn't want it to get like it was just basically taking up another slot for the randomization. And there were some of these that I knew I wanted to have, on here. So the less that I can, so I was like, I took off a few of them and I was like, we'll make sure that the core ones get on there. But yeah, but it's all random.
Piano and Mike 83. That's another one that didn't make it.
Yes, that one didn't make it. That one was on the list. That one, because I had all the posthumous ones on there. And the originals and, Deliverance, kind of posthumous, kind of official, not really. But and then obviously Welcome to America. I was honestly happy that Welcome to America made it past round one, especially with all of the kind of backhanded compliments people keep giving it. Not you guys, but it's just like nobody can just say, yeah, I love that album. That's always, I love that album, but it's just like, no, just say it's a good album. All right. Well, definitely we want to know what you guys ended up having as your winner. So if you haven't put it into the chat here, which I'm seeing a lot of Gold Experience and a lot of 1999. So I'm liking that people are agreeing with both Travis and Jason. No one got to Rainbow Children, which is also understandable because Rainbow Children's first matchup was against Purple Rain. And only somebody crazy like me would choose Rainbow Children over Purple Rain. I mean, come on now. But hey, I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you to Travis and Jason. And thank you to all of you who came and hung out with us live as well. But anybody who's here after the fact, again, I want you guys to put in what your winner was and how you got there. You don't have to give us the entire thing, but how did you get there? Did you go the same route as we did, or did you go some other route with different winners and different things and ended up at the same conclusion? We want to know. Otherwise, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you always know when Princess Friend puts out a new video. And may you live to see the dawn. Love you all. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.